more questions that people don't ask that you need to answer. I was talking to someone today and just working with a new leader, and some people they complicate this business when they come in it, and that's not being critical or judgmental, okay? Because I remember there was a time that when I came into this business, into network marketing, it was hard to wrap my mind around it, you know. Because when you come out of either having a job where you're always told what to do, or you have a business for your own, and you work that business, you work with clients, it's a different thing when you come into network marketing. Because we're in the people business. And you know, some of you wonder why I go to some of Tony's events. Most of what we do has a lot to do with the psychology of success, the psychology of mastering our own life and understanding people. Matter of fact, I talked to one of my leaders about this today. Very dynamic woman, but she's new too to network marketing. And we talked about this, and you know, I told her, I said, one of the most important qualities you need to have with people when you're working with new leaders is you need to develop the quality of patience. Now in the Bible, it might be called long suffering. It's interesting because that's usually how long suffering in the Greek is translated as patience. But I prefer the original word long suffering because there's a suffering involved. Because there's times that you want to yell at them, you want to scream at them like, you idiot! I mean, how many times have I told you this? I mean, I sent you the links, man. Why don't you look at it? Why don't you review it? What's up with you? Come on. You know, you want to do that. Don't do that. Okay? And that's what I told her. I said, you got to learn to be patient with people. Very, very patient. When you want to yell at them, when you want to get angry, don't do that. Because you can burn a bridge. You can sever a relationship. And I'll talk about this tomorrow night because I liken this to, no, I'll go ahead and I'll talk about it tonight. Because this has to do with, again, understanding people. And in a previous call, I talked about that people have the personality types like warships. Warships, yes. You have your destroyer, you have your submarine, you have your aircraft carrier. You say, well, Jeff, what the heck has that got to do with people in network marketing personalities? Well, I'll tell you what it has to do with it. One girl that I've been working with, she has an extremely dynamic personality. Personality types that are warships are what they just sound like. I mean, they're a destroyer. A destroyer, for example, the guns are raised They're ready to kill everything in sight. Just their presence would terrify you, what they could do, right? And that's your battleship, your destroyer. These are the people that come in and they take charge. These are the people that organize your events, that organize your trainings. They're very, very aggressive people. And they get a lot done. They accomplish a lot. At the same time, they have the tendency to annihilate others or drive others off. You're either going to love them or hate them. And I'll tell you, excuse me, warships, if you have, for example, if a destroyer recruits another destroyer, and you have more than, just a few destroyers around, 3 or 4, they have the tendency to turn on one another and destroy themselves, right? That's why you got to separate. They got to space out. They can be in your team, but what you have to do is give them space. And then you have to acknowledge, that, hey, man, you're an awesome destroyer. You're good at destroying. I love you, man. I love you. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Go get them. I mean, they are the kind of people that can attract others. They're leaders. That's just what they are. Now, the submarines are different. Submarines are more like, they're just as effective as destroyers. Keep in mind, how many submarines have sunk destroyers, right? In war. You don't see them coming and then boom, it's all over. That's the strength of a submarine. Now, these people are more laid back. So I call it relaxed intensity. That's me, okay? More relaxed intensity. And so people don't feel so intimidated by a submarine. So they'll let their defenses down when a submarine comes around, and then boom, it's over. They got them, right? In other words, they don't feel like they're being pursued or prospected. That's the way submarines make you feel. They make you feel like it's safe. You're safe. And then it makes them open for presentations. It makes them open to look at your business. So you have your submarine personalities like that. They're not like destroyers. And they don't want to. It's like I told a lady today. She said, well, what am I, Jeff? I said, well, you're a submarine. Because when she was talking about her sponsor, I said, listen, you have to understand, you don't have to be a destroyer. You're not going to be like her, okay? To be successful in network marketing, you do not have to be like her. See, you be you, and you're a submarine. And you can be just as successful as that woman is as a destroyer. But you're going to do it your way. I want you to understand you're good enough. And if you understand that what you think is a weakness is actually a great virtue on your part, it has a lot of power. Submarines are very powerful. Now, the aircraft carriers, who are these types? These are the encouragers. Encouragers. They're great too at motivating people. They're really good at pouring on the praise. And so it's like they'll tell their team leaders, hey, go on the mission. You can do it. Fly off the sucker. Get it done. I have confidence in you, man. You got this. You crush it. You do it. I'll be here when you get back. And when they come back, it's the same thing. You're saying, oh, man, you're awesome. You're unbelievable. I told you could do it. You are going to be the best. And there's those type of person. And I would say that I'm more of a submarine and aircraft carrier mix. Is sort of in between, okay? That's what I am. I'm not a destroyer. I've had, I would say I was more aggressive in my earlier years, but I can think of some women, like I said, destroyer types. Man, like I said, you're either going to love them or you're going to hate them, because that's just the way they are. They get it done, and sometimes people don't like the way they get it done, and they don't mean to offend. And for those of you that are maybe a seasoned destroyer, or you're somewhere, you're either a submarine or an aircraft carrier, or you're in between, Where you need to really work is when you look into your team and you see those types, and when you see a destroyer rub somebody the wrong way, just intercede and say, hey, listen, I mean, she really loves you. She really does. I mean, she speaks highly of you. She doesn't mean to offend you. It's just her nature because she's so strong. I mean, she has her value, and then she brings that to the team. But just understand, she values you, so don't take it personal. That's where you intercede. So, that was the conversation I was having with some today, helping them to understand a little bit about personality types. And again, we are in the people business. You come out of the job market, or you had a business, and it's like you didn't have to have so much a work relationship with people. I mean, they're hired to do a job. That's it. So they have to do their job. That's right. In network marketing, they don't have to. They can leave anytime. And that's the reason why it's critical to understand personality types and then how to deal with these. And then just understand their power, the power that each of them, what they all bring. So the 4 questions that people never ask you that you better answer, sometimes they do ask, but a lot of times they don't ask. This was another thing I had in a conversation with a leader today. Again, she's new, and I could tell she was in a state of overwhelm because she's looking at too much material about her products, different videos, things like that. Again, onboarding process, you need to decide what that's going to be. What do you want your leaders to focus on? If you're carrying 40 products in your company, are you trying to educate them, get them to understand and promote 40 products? I don't think you want to do that. That's going to be very problematic if you want to grow a team. So again, focus on 1 or 2 or 3. Keep it simple, but make sure that they understand what PDFs are you using, what video are you using. So you have to make a decision. If it's multiples, that can overwhelm them. So, excuse me, changing the weather here. So what are the 4 questions? The 4 questions that people think about, that many times they'll never ask you this, and this is why you're prospecting them, but if you don't answer them, they're not going to join you. The first is, what is this? When you're prospecting somebody, they want to know, what is this? The second question they're going to ask themselves, not necessarily ask you, is, does it have value? Third is, can I make money? Fourth is, can I get help? If we don't answer those 4 questions, the questions that they never ask, sometimes they do, but many times they don't, they're not going to join you. And then you're going to get frustrated and you're going to wonder why. What's up? Okay? So let's look at each 4. So what is this was the first question they're going to ask themselves. You are prospecting that person. So they're trying to understand what it is you are promoting. Again, that's the reason why it's got to be simple. If you're promoting 40 products, look for them to go into a state of overwhelm right away. It's going to be very difficult. People's lives are already crazy. They're already crazy. They don't have enough time for their children, for their families. And then we say, hey, I've got something that will uncomplicate your crazy life. Uncomplicate it. And then the first thing we do is complicate it by our presentation. So get it down to whatever you do, just a few products, and that's it. If you introduce more than that, that's going to complicate it. And it's important that those products be related to one another some way. So if it's a weight loss product, then that's pretty simple, isn't it? If it's a system that, like a box set you sell, I'm just throwing that out there, that's okay. But you want to find the theme, basically, of those products, and that's it. Keep in mind, people don't get on a weight loss product so much to lose weight as what they want to become physically, right? It's the end result that they want. It's the pleasure that they imagine themselves seeing themselves, right? So it's the end result. Or if there's a lot of focus on viruses today. People are very concerned about their immune systems. So they're concerned about the fact, if I got the coronavirus, would I survive? When they consider the difference between life and death is a strong immune system. So if your company leads with that, then you just want to stress the value and the benefit that your product brings and what would you have? You might have a PDF that supports that. You might have a something gives them information on that. Again, we're answering the first question they never ask, and that is, what is this? And then the second is, what value does it have? Again, you got to qualify that, and you qualify that again by possibly introducing them to a Facebook group, so they can go in there and they can see what people are sharing, the value that they're getting out of your product or your service, what it's doing for people. And once they see that and they read those incredible stories, and some people wait until they join a company before they add them to a product group. That's a mistake. If you want them to make a decision, that's part of the qualifying process of seeing if you got value in your product. And that is, just going into that group and seeing the stories. Remember the old saying, facts tell, but what? Stories sell. Stories sell. That's right. So what are the stories about your product? And again, if you say, well, we're told by our company we can't share stories. We can't share stories because of government agencies like the FDA, the FTC. Let me tell you something. Here's what do not use trademark names. That's the way to do it. If you're not using trademark names, your company can't say anything to you, and neither can anyone else, because they don't know what the heck you're talking about. So, if you have a cardio product, well, then you're going to call it the cardio product. But if you're in XYZ company, don't have XYZ in your Facebook group. Does that make sense? Okay? And don't use the trademark name for your product. Everybody in your group knows, your team knows what you're talking about. Say the heart product, the diabetes product, the weight loss product, the immune system product, whatever you want to call it. Okay? Or, whatever, and then you could apply that same concept, principle just about to anything. I'm just saying that way, if you want to avoid scrutiny from your company, or, then that's just the way to do it. I have some people say, well, we can't share stories. Yes, you can. It's just the way you're doing it is wrong. It's very easy to share stories, but not trademark names. How many people out there today belong in multiple companies? Several. How many people out there today use multiple product lines from different network marketing companies? Many. I do. You come to my house, you're going to see Young Living essential oils everywhere. It's mostly their hand pump soaps I like, and there's a few other things that products that my company doesn't carry, they carry. And I like those products. I have another product that I use from another network marketing company. So the point is, if somebody came in that group, they don't know what company you're with. It's great. But when the question is, what value is this? Then you're able to do that, establish or answer that question by the stories in the group. And I think it's pretty powerful when you do it that way. Because here's the thing. If you can't talk about the benefits of your product and what it's done for people, or people aren't sharing that, how are you going to grow? Again, there's ways to do it. So that's the second way that you answer the question, is what value does this product give people? And for those of you that just joined, the first was, what is this? That is, what is your product? Second, what value does this product give people? Third, can I make money with this? Okay, very good. So they're sold on the idea of your product, what your product does for people. They're sold on that idea, right? So then now you have to show them, how do I make money with this? How do I do that? And so again, I always recommend never show them the compensation plan. Again, complexity is the enemy of duplication in network marketing. And the last thing you want to do is make it complex, right? Again, their lives are already crazy. We don't want to make it more crazy, right? We want to show them that this is not a crazy business. I mean, it does take some abnormal people, I think, sometimes to go the distance with it, that's for sure. I mean, we're definitely a different kind of people, right? We're entrepreneurs. But we want to show them it's a fun business. But so again, without explaining the compensation plan, how do you show them that money is to be made? Well, it's just very simple, friends. You're going to have to give basically the highlights of your compensation plan, what you like about it. You know, what I like about my plan is this, and that is talking simple activity examples. If I sponsor two who sponsor two based on 100 points or $100, whatever language you use, your products are free. I'm just giving you an example. It doesn't mean it's that way with your company. You have to figure out the language. But I mean, give me an example. If you were to sponsor me, and I said, you know, hey, what do I got to do to make money this month? Give me what is a typical goal that's achievable, believable in your company. Now, people want to know the break-even point, right? What do I got to do to break even in your company? Who do I have to sponsor? And how much products are they going to consume and use, maybe to share with others, to sell to others? I mean, what is the amount? Okay, and if it's based on 100 points, I'm just throwing that out there. Two who sponsor two. If you go no further than that with 6 people, my products are free. Okay, I know the break-even point. If I sponsor 3 who sponsor 3, I broke even and I made a couple $100. If I did that the following month, then based on the people that are still with me and the new people that just joined, and we duplicated 3, getting 3, I made $1,000. I understand that kind of language. People understand that kind of language. They don't want to know the compensation. It's like when you're looking at a Mercedes. Ladies, you get what I'm talking about here. Guys want to know what's under the hood. Does the woman really care what's under the hood? No. She wants to get in the S-Class Mercedes or whatever car you love, okay? And she wants to sit there in that car, feel the leather, smell the leather, turn on that incredible sound system, and put it in drive and go. She wants to experience it. She does not want to know all the mechanics of why an engine works, right? And it's that way with the compensation plan. Men tend to want to go to these explanations because we want to prove that we're so sophisticated and so smart that we can explain all that confusing graphs that you see on your website, on your literature, that we're just going to unravel it and explain it, you know? You know, again, a woman just wants to talk about how it feels. Okay, so guys, we can learn from that, all right? We want to talk about when you do these numbers, introduce it to 2 and introduce you to 2, your products are free. That's the break even. Introduce it to 3, and introduce 3, your products are free and you've made a couple $100 based on 100 points. Or do that, repeat that the following month. Now you're at $1,000 with the people that you retained and new people you brought in following that same activity step. People can say, oh, okay. I remember when I came in the last company I joined 21 years ago, I said, okay, what do I got to do to go to the top? 3 teams. Build 3 legs, 3 teams. Okay, I can do that. That's all I want to know. In the beginning, that's all they want to know. And keep in mind, you know when they want to know the compensation plan? Whether it's men or women, it doesn't matter. When they want to know it is when they start making money, because they want to know why. Once their checks start hitting around $1,000, they get curious about the compensation plan and how it works. Well, what made everything work was your activity. It wasn't because you understood the compensation plan. So give them some just simple direction is what they have to do to get started. You know, and that's all they need to know in the beginning. The details will come later. They'll ask the question, you'll get the details. That will come later. In the beginning, it's not important. What's important is that you answer that question, can I make money? And you give them a simple activity example. Well, you know, based on what you just saw, how much would you like to make? $1,000? Okay. Give them the activity example. What do I got to do to make $1,000 in your company? So, now what's the fourth? And for those of you that just joined us again, the first question was, what is this? That is, what is your product? Second, does it have value? And then third, can I make money? Fourth, can I get help? That's the big fear. The fear of being alone. The fear that I have to figure this out. I've never been in anything like this. I don't know what to do. I mean, do I have to create a system? What is the system? What kind of system would I create? Do I advertise the product in Facebook? Do I advertise the product online? Do I go out door knocking with brochures? This is a big fear. That's probably the biggest fear of the 4. The fear of not knowing, the fear of the insecurity that I'm in this by myself. So it's very important that you put all those fears to rest very quickly with them. Very quickly with them. And let them know, no, of course you're not going to go out door knocking with it. You're not going to have to run ads in Google with it. Just let them know, you know, how old are you? Oh, you're 47? Okay. In 47 years, how many people have you met in your lifetime? How many people do you know out of those 47 years would see value in a product like this, would want to buy a product like this? Empty your head on a piece of paper. That's your advertising. Don't post it in your Facebook page. Don't do that. Don't put everybody on notice you just joined a network marketing company, because then they're not going to be answering your calls, and they might not be answering your text messages, and you're going to wonder why, okay? The element of surprise is very important. You need to use that to your advantage. What do I mean by that? I mean that some people, that when you say, hey, I just got in this company, it's the XYZ company, and then your friends see that, and then they go, oh, let's Google XYZ. So they Google XYZ company. Oh, look at that. Somebody posted they joined that company and they didn't make money, and that they put $500 into it, and you better not join that company. Oh, there's some negative press right here about some people that made some claims about a product and got in trouble with with whoever out there. I'm just saying, Google and most of your social media platforms do not like network marketing. I'm serious. If I go to Google right now, let me just go. Let me see what I find from Google today. Okay. Google. Let me see if I find. I'm just scrolling I just went to their main page. And what are they? I'm looking for, let's see here. Oh, look at this. Now this is the third story in Google. The social consequences of multi-level marketing. I'm telling you, every day, I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you go to Google, it's all negative network marketing. They hate us, people. They hate us. These liberal, left-wing nut jobs who want us to be enslaved by the government. I'm not going to get on my podium here. But they want us dependent on their health care and their food stamps and everything. And of course, we got to be dependent on Google. Here's the, there's a, how MLMs are hurting female relationships. Girls, do you not know how MLM, your company, is hurting female relationships? This is the crap they put out there. And it's crap. It's exactly what it is. And anybody that's got a brain, and this, when people read this stuff, that's what I always say to them. Do you believe everything you read in the news, the media? Well, no, I know I don't. I said, well, don't believe that. That's one of those other things you shouldn't believe. You know, I've got a very, very sharp gentleman that is in my team, and he is a health coach. He's been doing it for many years. The guy's totally incredible. He lives in British Columbia, Canada. He says, and don't get offended if you're from Canada, okay? But he says, Jeff, Canadians are so stupid. And I said, okay, why? What do you mean? He says, they believe everything on the news. Everything that the media promotes, they believe. Everything. And he says, I'll tell you, I prefer to recruit Americans and work with them. That's what he told me. So if you're from Canada, don't get offended, because again, he's from Canada, right? So he doesn't believe that stuff. But I'm just saying, when you announce on your Facebook page, I've just joined this company, we got this product, it's unbelievable, it's network marketing, and you're going to be financially independent, contact me, call me, let's get going. You're not helping yourself, because they're going to Google XYZ company that you're in, and they're going to go, oh, wow. And Google's going to dump on all that crap. They're going to dump all that stuff. And I'll tell you what, once they Google it, they keep track of your subject interest. And then every day now, when you go to Google, they're not going to give you anything positive. Everything's going to be negative about network marketing. They hate our profession. And that's what Google is. They're just a bunch of liberal nut jobs. So anyway, that's a problem we're getting with a lot of these social media platforms. So just be aware of that. And that, again, so when we're going back to the fourth question, can I get help? When somebody joins, can I get help? That's part of the help you need to give them, is tell them, don't post on your page and let everybody know about the company, our company you just joined, and our products. Don't do that. And the reason is, and try to gear it more toward being positive than negative, okay? Sure, you can, today, this is not a day and age you want to post your testimonies on your Facebook page, okay? Because of the regulatory scrutiny we're getting, right? So your secret groups, and the way I told you, the way you do your stories is the way you should do your stories. Don't use trademarks. That's it. And that's all I'll say on that. But so on your page, what I tell them is the reason why you don't want to do this, you don't want to announce to everybody you just joined our XYZ company, because what they're going to do is Google it, and Google hates network marketing, so they're going to throw out negative stuff. Best thing to do is, let's make a list and then call your friends and then just, share the information with them. Some will be interested, some won't. Some will join your business, some will be your customers. And that's what we want to do. But what we don't want them to do is go to Google and do their homework, because Google's not going to give them anything good about network marketing. So then we're going to show them how we do it. And again, what does that mean? Does that mean, you might be thinking, well, Jeff, people, in my upline, they're always posting about their products. I see the engagement, I see the likes, I see the comments. Do you realize, though, that your upline has downlines of thousands of people? And it's those distributors that are giving the likes and the comments. It's not the person's warm market. It's not their warm market. So that is not going to be a model for you. It's not going to be a model for your distributors. You don't see me posting about my company and products, do you? And yet if I did, sure, I would get a lot of likes and comments from distributors in my company, but I don't do that. I don't want them. And matter of fact, if you go to my page, you're not going to see what company I'm in. That's right. I'm telling you, not only is it wise from a marketing perspective and strategy, it's also wise from a compliance strategy. Because we live in a different era now, a different era. And there's government scrutiny. And so the thing is, I want leaders to understand, you're not going to do any good posting about your products in your page. You're not going to do any good. Every time I see people do that and they say, hey, the coronavirus is here. If you want to know the product for that, I've got it. And it's called the XYZ product. And this can give you a strong immune system so the virus bounces off you like Superman. And it gets what? 2 likes. The post might get 2 likes. Nobody's buying. I'm telling you, it doesn't do any good to post about your products or the problem. It never works. People want to hear just one thing. They want to hear positive stuff. They want to see you post about stuff they're interested in, value that you can give them. And that's what you need to post about. So tell new people, just keep posting stuff like you did before you joined our company, whatever that was, about your family life. Sure, if you want to share recipes about good eating, or you can mumble on your page. Mumbling's okay. Mumbling meaning you're in the gym and you're talking about the workout you just went through, and then say, hey, you know what? I've been looking for a protein product that would help me, that would help meet my needs and what I'm looking for to achieve in my own physique, my body. And I finally found a decent, I found the protein product I'm looking for. And so if you haven't found one that, that you feel is a good product, just reach out to me. I'll be glad to share it with you. And oh, by the way, the next rep I'm going to do, and then you go on and talk about something else. That's mumbling. That's mumbling. So you can do that, apply that same principle in all areas with products, whatever those products address, and just sort of mumble, but you never, it's just like you're talking about what you're doing, and all of a sudden you just drop a hint on something that's helped you. And oh, by the way, if you haven't found something like that, just reach out to me. I'll be glad to send it to you, some information. And then you go on and talk about whatever you were talking about. That's called mumbling. You can do that with your page. But again, don't post about your products, and teach your people not to do that. Because what's going to happen is they'll ruin their warm market. They put everybody on notice. Nobody's answering their phone because they went to Mr. Google. And then they get discouraged and quit. However, had they made the list, like we've been teaching it for 40 years, the tried and proven and true is what is true. And I've looked at all these people out there today. I've met them at GoPro Mastery, Eric Worre. I've met them at Ray Higdon's events. A lot of them aren't making money because they're doing it all wrong. And I don't want, when new leaders join you, you don't want them doing it wrong. Again, the 4th question was, can I get help? Okay, that's the help I'm going to give somebody. You're going to make that list. We're going to go over that list. I want to know who these people are. And I don't want you to prejudge the list. I just want you to empty your brain on it. Okay, I don't want you to make up their mind for them, whether they're interested or not. Oh, he's got money, he won't be interested. That person's got a business, he won't be interested. You know, well, heck, what are we looking for? People who don't want to make money? You know, there's a reason why some people are broke, friends. I mean, some have a poor mentality. Some have a set of circumstances. That's the difference. And there's a lot of poor mentality out there, and I feel bad for them. It's just they've had the wrong programming. Some have had money and lost it. That being broke is a set of circumstances. That's different than being poor. So the thing is, what we want to teach people is don't prejudge. You make that list. We're going to go over that list. I'm going to help you. I'm going to run with you. And that's what we have to do. We have to help that person. And in doing so, what's going to happen is they're going to have results. They're going to make money. You protected their warm market because they didn't make a public announcement on their Facebook page. They just joined one of these companies, and then all their friends Googled it and found out, you know, what Google thinks about network marketing. Okay, so now because they're making money, they're going to stay with you, and that's what you want. You want retention. You want your leaders to duplicate a system like this, where people are staying. They're not leaving because they get discouraged because they didn't know if they announced it to everybody that nobody would want to. They just not answering their phones or not answering their text messages. You know, you don't want to put your people through that, these new people. So save them the pain, okay? And so have an onboarding process. What PDFs are they going to use? What video are they going to use? Don't give them a lot of stuff. Just a few things, and that's it. That's it. And you're going to run with them a simple system of duplication. They're going to teach their people to do the same, and that's the way you do it. That's the way you do it. And those are the 4 questions that they never ask you, but you better answer that and cover that with that prospect when you're talking to them, because they're evaluated in, you know, just in their mind. Now, sometimes they do ask the questions, but a lot of times they don't. And then they just say, well, you know, let me think about it. Yeah, well, that's what they're doing. They're thinking about it. They're thinking the 4 questions that they never ask, but you better answer them and get good at that. Because and especially the last one, can I get help? That's their biggest fear. They don't know how to do this. They've never done anything like this before. They think they have to figure it out on their own. And we don't want them thinking that way. There's nothing to figure out. You've got it all figured out. All they have to do is just do it. So it's so nice to connect with all of you and be back. And tomorrow night I'll give you a shout out, share some more value. In the beginning, I talked about the battleships. Why don't you leave in the comments, what are you? Are you a destroyer? Are you a submarine? Or are you an aircraft carrier? And you can be an in-between. You know, if you say, well, I'm sort of a submarine and an aircraft carrier, or I'm sort of a destroyer and a submarine, but try to see, you know, also what you are, how that affects people in your team. And do you have issues sometimes with some of the leaders getting along with you? You know, it's not your fault. I mean, you are who you are. Don't apologize for that. I'm not saying be rude. Don't be rude. You should apologize when you're rude, okay? I've been rude before. I apologize. So the thing is, but just to understand what you are, who you are, and then understand that even though, let's say you're a destroyer, let's say you're a highly aggressive person, right? You know, it's, you know, just understand how that affects others, and just be aware of it, how you come across with people. And if you do that, if you get good at that, then you're gonna be more effective as a destroyer because you're more strategic. You're more strategic. You could even say that to somebody. You could say, you know, the way I just said something, that may have not come across the way I wanted it to. If I offended you, I'm sorry. What I meant by that is, and then you explain it. So just be aware of that. Destroyers are very valuable because that's what they do, right? They get things done. They get things done, and we need them. Submarines, on the other hand, they're not that way. And again, for those of you that join late, just because you are a submarine, don't think you can't be successful in network marketing because you're not a destroyer. A destroyer is visible. A submarine is not. You see them. You see evidence of them. They're organizing events. They're on stage. They're doing all this stuff. Submarines are just as deadly. They just do things differently. They come across differently. And yes, you can get on a stage as a submarine. Yes, now we're going to bring out the 5-star submarine, ladies and gentlemen, and she achieved this pin position, and she did it in 1 year. Yes, they can. So, just be aware of that. But you can leave that in your comments and any struggles you've had with that. And then the aircraft carriers were the ones who are the encouragers. They as they fly off those fighter jets, they're saying, go for it, go for the mission. You can do it. You're unbelievable. You're awesome. So I've enjoyed being with you this night and sharing some information with you. I really appreciate it. And in time, I'll share some what I've got out of the financial mastery. It's I think it's an important education for people that want to make serious money in network marketing. But here's the thing. When you do make serious money with network marketing, what do you do with the money? That's where financial mastery was important to me. And it's not about just investing. Here's something that we did that was crazy. I'll go ahead and share this. I thought I was getting off this call. But anyway, you're still here with me, so you're all friends. It was incredible. Tony Robbins did not know this, but his wife, Sage, who is an angel, just a beautiful woman. I mean, incredible woman. When we were when Tony left the room, he had been for hours doing, working with everybody. And then when he left the room and went wherever he went, Sage's wife came out and she wanted to talk about a special event that's going to be happening in Los Angeles, February 29th. It's coming up this month. And it's going to be a celebration event, but it's an event to raise money for the Operation Underground Railroad. It's an interesting name, right? But Operation Underground Railroad is an organization that frees children from human trafficking, specifically, sex trafficking. What it's used for, girls that are basically, they take them away to some place and they're used for sex. And so what this organization does, they're literally like an army. I saw this film that Tony's wife Sage played, and it was incredible. You saw these boats just charging into an island, and these guys getting out. It's military, man. I mean, these guys got semi-automatic weapons. They aren't playing around, and they're storming through this, like a wooded area and coming up to these houses, whatever, and they're kicking down these doors. I mean, it's serious stuff. And so any money that goes to this organization goes to that, and it's about freeing these children from sex enslavement, from human trafficking, people that taken advantage of them, got them there, whatever, away from their family somehow. And so anyway, so Sage asked those people that were present. There were 425 people in the room. 425 people in the room, right? Let's raise some money, and just as a present to Tony Robbins, and so it was over $1.7 million was raised in that room of 425 people. 425 people, raised 1.7 million. Now, how does that equate, or, to how many children are going to be set free? They equate that to 1,500 children with that money will be set free. 1,500 children. So I became a host sponsor of that event, meaning I contributed $25,000 to it. There were 30 other people that contributed, I believe, that much. And so as a result, we're going to go to Los Angeles I'll go fly there February 28th. On the 29th, we're going to have an event there with thousands of people to raise more money for Operation Underground Railroad, to, again, get on this mission about human trafficking and freeing these children up and really doing something about it, not talking about it. And Pitbull is going to be there. So I'm going to get a chance to spend time with Tony Robbins, Sage's wife, meet Pitbull and some other celebrities. There are going to be other celebrities there as well. I don't remember everyone, but Pitbull I remembered because I always listen to his music in my gym. Anyway, so I thought, well, that'd be cool to meet Pitbull. Anyway, but we're going to do that. So that was one thing. So going back to, and by the way, the last night we had a party at Tony Robbins' house. A check was presented to him from the group of 1.7 million that was raised. He couldn't believe it. He was so blown away. So blown away. What a gift. And given to him. And so when we think about money, and why do we make money in network marketing? What is it all about? A lot of people think it's all about selfishness. It's all about greed. It's all about lifestyle, showing off the big house, showing off the cars. That's a shame, really, because if you look at or if you were there present in the room, there's things that you would have heard, incredible things about how can we make a difference to people in the world. How can we change the living standard in the world? How can we narrow down the wealth gap where people can earn more money, even if they have a job? And there were strategies that business owners even learned, how they can actually make individual workers part owners in a company. Now, why would they do that? Because of the incredible tax breaks that the government will give them through a program, I believe it's called ESOP. And so at the end of the day, by the time over a period of years, then the owner basically walks away. He walks away with what he wants. And then again, all those people were benefactors of seeing that company rise and grow, and they actually became wealthy as well too. There was a lot of strategies that they were giving, and there were 5 billionaires there. So, speaking at that event. So a lot of great strategies, but again, it was selfless strategies. How can we impact people in a better way? How can we set goals to create and make more money to be able to give that money away? That was where the emphasis was. It wasn't about, hey man, how can we make more money? Become billionaires, things like that. Nothing wrong with that if a person wants to do that. That's not a personal goal I have. It's not important to me. But growth is important to me. Personal growth as well as financial growth, sure. But again, the purpose, the motivation behind it is so that you can give it away. But give it away to make a difference in the world. That was a very powerful message in the 5 days. That it was a reoccurring message every day, and with a lot of different strategies. And one thing, hopefully I'm not keeping you up past your bedtime. If I am, go to bed. But I got back into this climate and environment, and then it messed up my throat. Anyway, so but one thing that I really appreciate, and I shared this on a less than 5 video, but this was a takeaway that I got, and that is, people, when they think about happiness, they think about, again, how it relates to money, right? They always think the higher number is where true happiness is. So if you're earning, let's say, $1 million a year, then real happiness is going to be 10 million. Real happiness is going to be 20 million. The fact is, if you already were earning 20 million, then you're not going to be happy, because the real happiness is going to be $500 million. And I thought it was funny because Tony asked that. There were questions about, what is the number? We want the number. What is your goal? And then different ones wrote different things. One guy wrote $500 million. That is my number, $500 million. So we're, okay. Another person, it was 20. Another person, it was 10. Another person, it was 5. And so Tony he decided to go after the guy that was, it was $500 million. That was his number. So he said, well, let me ask you about your life now. Are you happy? He said, well, I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good. And one of the tasks he had asked us to do was figure out our security. What is our security? In other words, if you have a mortgage, what is that? If you have a car payment, what is that? If you have utilities, what is that? You get what I mean, friends. Add it all up, 12 months, what does it come to? How much money do you have to bring in to maintain the life that you feel is a good life right now? And in his case, it was $100,000 a year. And he said, look at that. He said, look at that. You got it in your head that you have to be at $500 million a year to be happy. That's what you got to earn to be happy. And yet $100,000 would do it. And he did this with, 3 or 4 other people. You got it at 20 million to be happy. But the fact of the matter is $60,000 a year pays for everything. So what's happened is we've put these numbers way out of reach. And he says, and you've put happiness way out of reach. He said, I couldn't tell you how many unhappy billionaire friends I have. They're billionaires, but they're unhappy. He said, I knew one guy, his wife and children spent $1,800 one day doing something. He got so mad. $1,800. What the heck were you doing? Spending $1,800, just getting mad. Tony took him aside. He said, man, you could spend $1 million a month, and in your lifetime, you would never spend all the money. When are you going to find happiness? Why couldn't you be happy about the fact they spent $1,800? Just been happy about it. But you're making all that, you have all this money coming in, you're not happy, you're not fulfilled. That's the ultimate failure, is when you have that success and you can't feel happy at the same time. So here was my takeaway. Here was my takeaway. When Tony said, find the lowest number that you can achieve and find fulfillment and happiness, and that's your number, my friend. That's your number. The lowest number. What would it take? See, I'm thankful because I don't have a mortgage and I don't have car payments. I always had a fear of the bank, so I always preferred things to be paid off. I've always been that way. I was taught by an old, wise friend who was a next-door neighbor 35 years ago. He taught me that after I built my first house. Because I always wondered why he had nice things. And I asked him one day, and he said, I never got in debt, Jeff. He said, you look at how much you pay in interest. And then there's the other fear. What if something goes south, like your job or your business? And I went through bankruptcy one time. So then, and the bank takes your house, right? So, I learned a lesson from him. So that was always a thing. When in network marketing, to me, it was always about being out of debt. I don't want debt. I don't want to go to the banks for anything. I don't want anything to do with the banks. The company can deposit in the bank, that's okay. But as far as borrowing money from the bank, no, I don't want to do that. Now, I'm not saying that's all wrong to do that. If it's a business you want to get started, I understand that. But I'm talking about as a rule, that was always me. So it's interesting, when I added up my security, in other words, what do I have to make in order to pay my bills and then have, just everybody's happy, right? It was $66,000 a year, friends. That's all I need. $66,000 a year. That's Tony would say, well, that's your number, Jeff. Now, he doesn't say that's all you should make. That's all you should ever be in your business. He's not saying that. He's saying just understand that's what it takes to make you happy. Anything beyond that is beyond that. And then, hey, you can decide what you want to do with it. You want to be a millionaire, be a millionaire. You want to be a billionaire, be a billionaire. That's okay. But just understand that's not going to make you happy. What makes you happy is just you're already there. And I really mean that, friends. Happiness is wanting the things that you already have. You're already rich. That's what most people don't understand. And that message came across very loud in that room, that you're already there. And that's what Tony said. Most of you are already there, and you just didn't know it. And when you're at that point, you're relieved. You're relieved because it's like, now I don't have to be unhappy anymore. Now I can go ahead and make $1 million and feel, hey, that was cool. That was a great goal. Now what can I do with that money? And if you want to buy your wife a car, okay. You want to do something special with your children, okay. You want to give, like I did, $25,000 to the Operation Underground Railroad, okay, do it. It's a write-off too. It's a write-off. Why not? Do something good for other people. It feels good to do things for other people. Why not? So, but when you're broke, can you do any of those things? No, we can't. And that's the reason why we should push ourselves in the business. So that way we have something to contribute. But just understand that for those of you that have this goal that I have to be a millionaire to be happy and make it in network marketing, that's my goal, that's my number. It's really not. Ask yourself now, is there anything grateful that you can be grateful for? Are you grateful? You can't get more if you can't appreciate what you got now. I'm telling you, there are laws put in place. God put those laws in place. If you can't have an attitude of gratitude for what you got now, you can't get more. That's right. Anyway, it's been fun spending time with you this night. And I thought I'd throw out that came from that event in Idaho. And that was a big takeaway for me. Tony would call that a breakthrough. A breakthrough. So anyway, appreciate all of you being on this evening. And I'll see you tomorrow night. Share some value then. Love all you guys. Have a great evening.